That's right, isn't it? Now, one has to then say, well, what's gone wrong? Well, nothing's gone wrong. What you have to understand happens is all of a sudden things turn round. And then you lose faith. You lose the idea that anything really happened from God, and you lose the feeling that God's ever done anything in your life. Now, that is a terrible thing, but it's the thing that so often happens. And then what the enemy of your soul's trying to do is it's trying to get you to deny the faith. It's trying to bring you to the place where you begin to deny that God ever did anything real in your life. Now, once he gets you to that point, he takes away your hope, because you become convinced that you've lost what you had. And then you try and get back what you've lost, which you didn't lose. And because you're trying to get back what you haven't lost, you keep asking God for what you've already got. And God can't answer your prayer because you never lost it. And then you don't find that you can get the experience you want, because the experience you want, you've already got. But what you've got also is something that you didn't know you were going to experience. And that is a battle and a war going on. And that war begins to war against your mind, and it wars against your inner man, and you begin to hate the things that are going on, and you begin to get more and more upset by your life, and you think you're a total failure. Is that true? And you can then turn around and say, well, it's no good, I can't go on, nothing works. Is that right? Right, now what I want to tell you is there is something working. What is working in you is the Spirit of Christ. Because before God met you and really caused your spirit to become one spirit with his spirit, you couldn't have cared less how you lived. A lot of the conflicts that used to happen in your mind and in your heart, you never even considered them conflicts. It was the way you used to think. It was the way you used to live. And what has actually happened is God is lighting you by the Holy Ghost, and now these things become unacceptable in your eyes. And the reason you get discouraged is because really inside there's a principle that doesn't like them. And so rather than defeat and a sensitivity of all that goes wrong being a sign of nothing happened, it's a sign that something genuine really did happen in your life. But the lie of the enemy is to tell you that if something genuine had happened, the other things wouldn't happen. Whereas Paul makes it clear that once someone's truly born, you'll find there's a law working in your flesh. And that law works in every individual, and there is a fight. And what happens is we forget what God did initially, and we tend to lose hope that it really was real. Or the enemy will come to your mind and suggest some thought like, well, if it was really real, how come you do this? And if it was really real, how come you do that? And you say, yeah, well, how come I do it? And then you go to God and you say, Lord, you know, what I need is I need an experience of birth that delivers me from this or delivers me from that. And you don't find that experience. Is that correct? And so you fight. You fight really in your mind in a realm of questioning whether you really got saved or not. Is that right? And then you wonder whether God's left you or not, don't you? And then you go on one step further and wonder whether you ever could have had an experience of God. Is that right? And then you convince yourself, because there's an enemy within your soul who convinces you in your mind, speaking in your mind, he says, look here, if you'd really had a real experience of God, God would have delivered you from all these things. But as God hasn't delivered you, it shows you it was never real. And then you take that on board, and so the next thing you look for is this real experience that's totally going to deliver you from all these things. Not that God ever promised to deliver you from all these things, but that's what the devil would tell you should happen. Now, I realize that that's how most Christians live, and they get despondent, and they get defeated, and they wonder. And they begin to say to themselves, well, it can't be real, and it's not going to last, and it doesn't last, and my experiences don't last, and God can do something, and God can touch me, but then it goes away, and it's no good. And so they get discouraged. True? Now, have you found that? How many get disappointed by that? How are you doing, Robbie? Okay, you managed. I'm all right. No. How many? Put up your hands again so I can see you. Okay, you get discouraged, all right? What you have to understand about it is that once God comes in and there's a real experience, you don't lose that. What you do is you begin to find that instead of walking in the Spirit and living in the Spirit, you become sensitive to the outward manifestations. And the outward manifestations in your life are the things that you begin to concentrate on. And once you concentrate on all the outward manifestations, what happens is you lose totally your sensitivity to God, because you become a carnal person. You begin to look at your whole life, and you consider the only thing that proves it's real is what actually you can sense, what actually you can see, what actually you can feel. And so you move out of the realm of faith in God and faith in what Christ has done into a realm of experimental Christianity. And that is a dangerous and impossible realm to live in, because once you move into the realm of so-called experimental Christianity, your whole idea is that everything must be done on a basis of what you can experience. And that experience locks you in. And everything begins then, that's nice, everything begins then to kind of trap you. And the whole of your life becomes a terrible quagmire. Thank you very much. And so what we've got, and it's easier to demonstrate it, what we've got is that. Now that is you looking from above. See, this is a God's eye view. Sorry, there's Paul there. Well, it would be something like that with Paul. Okay? But God looking down from above, but for the rest of us, we don't have that extra bit. Okay, Paul? Does that make you feel better?